Hello, my fellow hunters. Caleb the Monster Hunter here. Join me around the campfire to hear the tale of the scariest story of all time. The tale of Gozu, aka Cowhead. Kick back, relax, and let's go. The story of Gozu is so scary, so disturbing, so utterly horrifying that it is set to put whoever hears it into a total state of fear, worry, panic, and anxiety. The feelings are so all-consuming that the person is unable to remember anything they heard due to being so scared. It is due to this fear state that many people don't remember the story, and the fact that nobody can tell the story properly due to it inducing such a level of fear in everyone involved in the telling of the story. It can also leave people involved unable to sleep for days or even weeks afterwards. Gozu is one of the most cryptic urban legends in Japanese history, and according to popular interpretations of the story, it is said to trigger unnatural or supernatural events. Legend has it that the story of Gozu dates back to the 17th century, with rumours that merely hearing the story of Gozu caused a whole village to go into a mass fear state, inducing villagers into such fear that they all suffered terror and chills before dying of fright just days later. This caused local government to intervene, deeming the story too scary and dangerous, and ordered all copies to be burnt to avoid this event ever happening again. Although not all were able to be destroyed, with some being saved that were cut up into pieces, being distributed all across Japan. To this day, it is believed that the fragments found are either fake or a mere small fragment of the original tale. A more recent story tells of a school teacher who somehow managed to get his hands on one of the Gozu fragments. The teacher apparently took his students on many school trips and was a big fan of telling his students ghost stories to entertain them, as they would often get rowdy on the trip, and developed a tendency to calm down when their teacher would tell them the spooky tales of terrifying ghosts and ghouls, showing morbid fascination for their teacher's stories. On one of these trips, the teacher would tell the story from the fragment, but it did not end well. Legend tells that on one trip, the teacher, as always, starts telling his ghost stories and pulls out the piece of paper, the Gozu fragment. The teacher then begins to read the forbidden tale known as Cowhead, but before the teacher is even able to finish the first sentence, the students begin to panic. "Stop!" they yelled. "Don't tell us!" One boy turned ghostly pale and covered his ears and began to rock backwards and forwards, begging the teacher to stop. Several others began to scream at the teacher to stop. Some soiled themselves, and others shook and begged the teacher to stop reading, but the teacher never did. Students say that the teacher's eyes turned white, and he read the whole fragment as though he was possessed by a supernatural force. An hour later, the teacher regained consciousness and came to the realization that the bus had crashed into a ditch. Looking around, the teacher saw his students all passed out, some foaming at the mouth, others still shaking and sweating with fear, despite being out cold. The teacher then approached the driver, who was paralysed with fear, gripping the steering wheel, knuckles white, fiercely shaking and sweating. It is not known what happened in the days after. The students, driver and teacher never spoke of this again. Rumour has it that some students died. Others say that some students went crazy, but we will never know due to their vow of silence. But one thing is for sure, the teacher never retold the story of Gozu and destroyed his fragment with fire. So, is Gozu really that scary? Let me know. I've been Caleb the Monster Hunter. You've been cute, and remember, if you find a Gozu fragment, destroy it immediately.